Hello everyone, I welcome you all to editorial analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today we have two different articles to be discussed from the mains perspective. In this first topic, we'll be discussing about impeachment of judges, and in the second article, we'll be discussing about one nation, one subscription from the mains perspective. So without any delay, let us get into the first news article discussion. Now look at this article about impeachment of judges. Now currently it is in news because an impeachment process has been initiated against Justice Shankar Yadav of Allahabad High Court, and we saw this news article 2 days back. Last week, what happened is Mr. Shankar Yadav, he has attended Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and in that particular meet, he talked about UCC. We saw about UCC in detail from the mains perspective that day, and apart from talking about UCC, he made certain comments with respect to minorities in our country, which has sparked a very big debate, and this is the reason why the impeachment process against him has been initiated in Parliament. So from the mains perspective, let us revise about how impeachment of judges is done. So here I have a mains question before that. Explain the constitutional provisions, grounds and procedure for the impeachment of judges in India. Discuss the challenges in ensuring judicial accountability while maintaining judicial independence. So it is a 15-marker question. You have to write answer for 250 words. You can write and post it in the comment section so that we will be reviewing your answer. So let's start with the constitutional provisions. See, under Article 124 Clause 4, the grounds for removal for the Supreme Court judges has been provided. Under Article 217, the grounds for removal for the High Court judges has been provided. So we can tell that Article 217 is actually an extension of Article 124. So we have these provisions in order to provide the accountability and transparency and the independency of the judiciary in India. And the second important article is this Article 124 Clause 5. So this provides the Parliament the power to enact a law that can mention or provide the procedure for which an impeachment can be done. So based on this act only, this article only, the Judges Enquiry Act 1968 was enacted, and this particular act provides the procedure for investigation and enquiry committee formation. And the very important role played by our Parliament is to balance the accountability and independence, as I said earlier. Now moving on, let us see the procedure for impeachment. See, the first thing is the ground for removal, as I said earlier. So what are the grounds for removal? Misuse of office, grave offences, contravention of constitutional provisions. These are mentioned in Article 124 Clause 4. And then there are certain things that is mentioned in Judges Enquiry Act 1968. But remembering these are very, very important. So any kind of grave mistake will be taken as a ground for removal when it comes to judges. And the second thing, talking about the initiation of the removal process, see, motion has to be signed by 50 Rajya Sabha members and 100 Lok Sabha members, and it should be submitted to the speaker or chairman in case of Rajya Sabha. And when this has been submitted, it means the impeachment process has been initiated. And the third important thing that you have to remember is the admittance and enquiry committee formation. So once the motion has been admitted, an enquiry committee will be formed, which will be containing Supreme Court judges, Chief Justice of a High Court, and an eminent jurist. So they will be conducting investigation, and they will charge frame. And once this step is completed, it will be providing a report to the Parliament. So the report will be debated in the Parliament, and it requires the special majority in both the houses for the impeachment of that particular judge. So for those who don't know, special majority is nothing but the total membership of the Parliament plus 2/3 of members present and voted. So here, what is the total membership of the Parliament? If we take our Lok Sabha, it is like 545. So what is the half of 545? It is like 272. So if someone gets 273, it is the majority. This is the case when it comes to Rajya Sabha as well. Now the thing is, along with this majority, they have to get 2/3 of the members who have been presented there and being voting. So there should be both the majorities. So this is what we call special majority. This is not only in Lok Sabha but also in the Rajya Sabha. So once this is done, the president will be issuing his order of removal with his approval. So this is what the procedure that is involved in impeachment of any kind of judge, especially the Supreme Court and High Court judges. Now talking about the instances of impeachment proceedings, it happened in 1991, 2009 and 2018, and it is happening in 2024, and that too in December. Now 1991, it is like Justice V. Ramaswamy. This motion did not pass in Lok Sabha. And the second thing is like Justice Sumitra Sen. This particular impeachment process, while it was happening, the justice resigned before voting. And in the Chief Justice Deepak Misra case, the motion was rejected by Rajya Sabha chairman, citing that the reasons are insufficient. So these are very important impeachment proceedings that you have to remember, which means no judges has been impeached so far. Now talking about the challenges when it comes to impeachment process, see, it is a very stringent procedure if there is a high threshold for misconduct or incapacity. But there is also a case of misuse of this particular provision. Secondly, there is political polarization. Even when there is an impeachment process taking place, due to the special majority provision and due to the political polarization, the impeachment process might not success every time when it is being initiated. And the third important thing is it is a very lengthy procedure and it requires a lot of attention to it. And the final important thing is balancing the judicial independence and accountability is a very big challenge. Now finally, to safeguard for judicial independence, we have high threshold for proof, meaning the impeachment process will not happen for any silly mistakes. And the second important thing is independent inquiry committee is there, which is not within the parliament, but there is a independent committee that is being formed. So the independence of the judiciary is highly protected by providing a independent investigating committee. Now the third important thing is we require the special majority. This is actually a positive thing as well as a negative thing. Okay, so these are all very important facts that you have to remember when it comes to impeachment of judges. So with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this article about One Nation, One Subscription, in short called as ONOS. See, this is a particular scheme that is currently in implementation, and the very purpose of this particular scheme is to provide open access to all the research journals that has been published under international publishers. So from the mains perspective, let us understand what are all the positives and negatives of this particular scheme. Before that, I have a mains question for you. Examine the transformative potential of the ONOS initiative in higher education and skilling, emphasizing its alignment with NEP 2020. So you have to write a 15 marker question for 250 words. You can write and post it in the comment section so that we will be reviewing your answer. So let's start with the One Nation, One Subscription. See, some of the key features include access to 13,000 plus journals from 30 international publishers. See, whenever it comes to a research, the findings of the research will be published as journals. So once the journal is published, in the first place, for a journal to be published, the research will be analyzed or approached by a particular expert in that particular discipline. Okay, so after the experts scrutiny, the research findings will be published as journals, and these journals will be like categories and based on different disciplines, and there are premium journals as well as non-premium journals. Premium journals are like written or the most astonishing findings will be there. So this One Nation, One Subscription tries to bring all the international publishers and under a one portal. So if you want to just go and access, there are like different like as you can see, like different 30 international publishers. There will be 30 different websites. So instead of going to 30 different websites, you can just go to ONOS, which has all the 30 international publishers. So this is the first important feature. Now the second important feature is that it helps the students and researchers in the higher education institutions. So if you ask how, see, the journal especially the academic journal, the very purpose of it is to provide or give the knowledge of what the seniors have been found. So these journals will act as a guide to future research and development, and finally giving the holistic fruit of science to the public. Now the third important key feature of it is it aligns with the NEP 2024 goal. I'm telling it because it focuses on affordability, meaning even if these portals has been made into single window, this will be affordable to everyone. That is why I said it is for open access. So most of the non-premium and the premium journals will be easily accessible, and it will be affordable to access, and it will bring inclusivity, meaning anybody can just log into ONOS and anybody can access this particular research. Now talking about the educational significance of ONOS, see, firstly, as I said, it improves the access to global knowledge. So it will enhance the evidence-based learning and foster a research-oriented mindset when they educate in the higher education institution itself, and it will enable an updated and high quality curricula as well. Now, the second important thing is it bridges the educational inequalities, especially when it comes to premium journals. It will ensure equity in the knowledge dissemination as well. Now the third important feature is it promotes multidisciplinary education, which means it helps or it enables the interdisciplinary learning. So it is not that only the science student can access only the science journals. It is like any particular person from any particular discipline, they can have access to the ONOS. Now talking about the skill dimension of ONOS, see, firstly it will foster research skills. By getting the access to the journals, it will enable critical thinking, problem solving and data analysis, and it will improve the quality of research outputs. Secondly, for the educators itself, it will provide us a platform for capacity building. So it will support the faculty's development, and it will improve the teaching methodologies and pedagogical skills. Now the third important thing is it will support lifelong learning, because it just fosters continuous learning and it always provides an update which is easily accessible and available. And finally, it promotes innovation and entrepreneurship. So by providing the latest knowledge and the technical assistance, it helps in awareness about the entrepreneurship, especially when you identify what is workable, you will be turning it into one business. So those kinds of innovative models will be brought in if this ONOS is properly working. Now talking about the challenges in implementation, so the first thing is it is not inclusive to the schools. So minimal direct impact on school students is the very important challenge or the implementation drawback. And the second thing is we have to depend on the foreign publishers. They usually neglect Indian academic publications, which is a very big challenge. And the third important thing is the cost and budget. Nearly 6,000 crore over 3 years. Repeat pandra, for over 3 years, 6,000 crores will be allocated for this particular scheme. But for the long-term sustainability, it is a very big question mark. And talking about the rural skill gap, see, there are a digital divide that we have to fix. So when there is very limited digital literacy and digital divide, we have to focus on the rural skill gap as well. So what are the way forward? What we can do? See, first thing is we have to integrate schools. We have to implement them even in the public libraries, digital access for advanced students as well. And the second thing is we have to support the domestic publications. So instead of depending on the international publishers, we have to develop our own publishers that are very approachable with minimum premium. And the third important thing is we have to conduct workshops for the educators for the utilization of ONOS. Fourthly, we have to focus on digital infrastructure. We have to improve the connectivity, bring down the digital divide. This will enable even the rural areas to participate in this particular scheme. And finally, we have to monitor and evaluate. So we have to bring in grievance redressal, and we have to focus on monitoring and getting the feedbacks and just fixing what is going wrong. And we have to also assess the impact on educational and skill outcomes. So these are all very important way forwards that we can do in order to make the ONOS most successful. So far we saw about what is this ONOS, we saw about the objectives of it, we saw about what are all the impacts of it both in the education as well as skill development, and finally we saw about the challenges and the way forward. With this we came to the end of the news article discussion. If you like the video, hit like, do comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Now thank you so much for listening.